Alright, welcome once again to Pennsylvania, and where I'm at today should be a familiar spot to some of you. I'm in a place called Cold Springs here in northern Lebanon County, up in Stony Valley. And I know I've been here before in several videos. Maybe more than several I've filmed here, but it's a Friday evening, October 23rd. Just kind of looking for a place to wander around a little bit this evening. Didn't really do a whole lot today. Yesterday was a long day, teaching and hanging out with friends. It was a fun day, but makes for a tired woodsman. So anyway, we're gonna hang out here lit this evening. If you're not familiar with Cold Springs, this is an old abandoned town up here in the mountains of Lebanon County. It has quite a history, which I'll talk about a little bit in this video. I won't mention it all here in the intro, but we'll get on down to where the town is. Just kind of hang out, walk around a little bit. It's getting late, it's almost 4:30. Of course, it's getting darker these days. So let's get exploring a little bit. And, you know, it doesn't hurt to come back to old places, because every time you visit a place, sometimes you find new things that you didn't find before. Yeah, I got the orange hat on for safety. Although I only saw 2 other vehicles here. I thought there were more people out here hunting and stuff, because we are in state game lands. And there's still some beautiful fall foliage out here, so I'll quit yapping and we'll get hiking up the road here. And the history back here dates back pretty far, actually. Even with just European history. I think this place was first settled in the 1700s by some Moravian missionaries. Of course, it was used even before then by the Native Americans. Supposedly there was, I've heard on and off, that there was a village in this area where the spring is. Or maybe not a full village, but a place where Native Americans would have spent time. Later on, it became a resort town, and I think there was a camp here too. I don't think it was a Boy Scouts, but it was some kind of boys' camp was here at one point as well. And it was also used during World War II for military training back here. And then it was abandoned. But it's a beautiful place back here. One of my favorite places. And we're coming up to where the center of town was, and you might be asking me, well, where is the town? But as with many of these places, all that's left is foundations. And you can see some right over here. There's a foundation right here. The stack stone, and this, oh yeah, the post office was up here. It did have a post office at one time, but if I remember correctly, this was the bowling alley. Yeah, it was a resort town at one point. It did have a 1-lane bowling alley. Guys, see that foundation there and one there, so it's kind of like a long building here. No bowling has happened here for quite a while though. Yeah, it's just beautiful out here this evening. And up here, so much more visible foundations. And up there is a much more substantial stuff as well. So pretty much right here in the center of town. The hotel for the resort was located up there. And this right here, I believe they called this the caretaker's house. This is cool right here. You can see the old steps leading up to where the house would have been. Now it's just some ruins of stone. But you could look in the back there and see where there would have been a window. And even a door over there. Yeah, just a beautiful set of ruins. You might hear a little bit of what sounds like gunfire in the background. I'm not sure if the microphone is picking it up, but we are near Fort Indiantown Gap military reservation. So what you're hearing is some of the training. And these ruins over here was where the post office was. You can see that one long foundation there. Don't know what the zip code was. Little drainage ditch. Yeah. Of course, would have been a nice little alley right here between the two. So I'm still standing in the center of town. Those are the ruins we just looked at. Of course, we came up from back that way. And the old road, if you keep going up that way, that takes you to the Stony Valley Rail Trail, which used to be the railroad through this valley. And there used to be a railroad station up there. But that got unfortunately destroyed at one point. That's kind of a sad story. Should have been preserved, but anyway, it wasn't. Like I said, over there was where the main hotel was for the resort. And down this way actually is where the bathhouse was. And the spring house. We'll go down there later. Yeah, it's just peaceful out here this evening. So let's go ahead and walk down to where the bathhouse was. And this was a resort for like rich ladies, like from the Philadelphia area, would come up here by train usually. Usually in the summer to get away from the heat in the city there. And the bathhouse was where they would, I guess, cool off. I don't know if they really took baths there. It was a place to, they'd wear those old-fashioned, swimsuits, if you could even call them that. Yeah, because this will take you back up to the hotel area. You can see some of the foundations up there. You can see remnants of kind of like some steps here. And then they would have come down here. I think this was called the Grand Avenue, going down here to where the spring house and the bathhouse were. So we'll make our way down here. Of course, when we look at these ruins today, it's kind of hard to picture what they used to look like. You might be able to find some pictures online. I know I do have a book at home that has some pictures. I forgot to bring that. Actually, it's not my book. I think I have it packed away somewhere actually as well. I gotta return it to the person I got it from. But it has some pictures of some of these buildings. I think you can find those online as well. But yeah, so sometimes it's hard to picture, these places as what they used to look like once nature has taken over again. As we're walking down, there is another trail off to the right. We'll take that in a moment. That takes you to another spring that a lot of people have trouble finding. It's called Magnesia Springs. I think it was used more for like a healing spring. Oh, look at all those golden leaves just falling down. It's beautiful. And down here we are. See some old steps going down. Yeah, they put a big wire grate over where the spring was. I guess just to keep people and animals out. Actually, let's go ahead and see if we can look down in there. There's water in there. Alright. You can see a tree fell down here recently on top of it, but you can see here's a stone channel where the water would run down to the bathhouse down there. And you can still see some of the old piping here, the old metal piping coming out. And you can hear the water too, because it's not flowing through the pipe anymore. Yeah, all these trees weren't here last time I was here. And here's the bathhouse. So there would have been a building, like a pavilion style building over this. A bunch of rich ladies, soaking their feet and trying to cool off down here. There you can see the channel. And up where that grate was is where the spring house was. And of course the hotel was way up there then. And if you listen, you should be able to hear, oh, you can see the water flowing down there. You can hear that water. And it does flow off out that way down to Stony Creek. Alright, so we're going to start heading back up. We're going to take that other trail, which will be off to our left this time. Let's see if we can find those other springs. Magnesia springs. It was another stone-lined spring, much smaller. Let's see, we turn off up here. Now, there's really no signs back here telling you what things are or where to find things. Although there are some old orange blaze marks on some of the trees back here to find this spring, I think. Alright, let's see if I can still find it. Looks like there's some more fresh fallen trees here too. Yeah, I almost walked past these here. You can see indentations for other foundations that are back here. I don't know what was in this spot right here. There's obviously a building in here. And over here is another indentation for some kind of small building was in there. Alright, I gotta find a way around these fallen trees. Alright, so I think at some point here I gotta go off trail. Let's get through the dark area here. So I think the trail turns back up to the right up here. Oh, I gotta search my memory here. Yeah, it turns up that way. So we gotta go this. Oh, I'd see it already. If you don't know it's here, you'll miss it. But you can see it right up there. Just kind of out here by itself. But you can see the old stone steps leading down. Oh wow, this is dry almost. Interesting. Other times I've been here, it's always been filled with water. I mean, it has been a dry summer and fall, but the other spring was flowing, but this one, not so much. Well, I wasn't expecting that, but it's still cool to see. And then there's a little outlet for it here. Kind of flows off. There's a little pipe that used to come out here somewhere. And once again, it would flow as well down to Stony Creek. There we go, Magnesia Springs. Let's look at it from the other side. Those steps are moss-covered steps that are pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and head back on up to the hotel site itself. And of course, the hotel burned at one point, but I think before the hotel was there, like I mentioned, it was Moravian missionaries. That's also the site of their original buildings up there as well. So there's some more newer foundations. When I say newer, I'm talking like late 1800s, and then there's some older ones, which I think could possibly be from the late 1700s, around that time. So it's fine. We're gonna find this trail is up here again, and it's gonna, like I said, hooks up to the right and takes us back up to the hotel site. It's gonna run out of daylight too. It's hope that everything's showing up on the camera all right. A little dark in these woods. It's kind of cool that way as well. All right, so I'm gonna actually hook off trail here. The trail that took me to Magnesia Springs keeps on going to the west, and it does hook up with the trail that comes from the hotel site as well. And you can follow that trail all the way over to what's called Rausch Gap, which was another old town back here. That was a coal mining town, and it stays just south of the rail trail, that trail, and it does have the orange blaze marks on it. Last time I hiked that trail, it was really hard to follow at times at certain spots, but you can take that trail to Rausch Gap if you're feeling adventurous someday and you're familiar with the area. I think sometimes it's referred to as the old wagon road. I've heard it called that. I'm going to cut cross country here, back up to the hotel site itself, or at least that's the plan. And just after I said that, here is the other trail I mentioned coming from the hotel site. Oh, that'll take us to the hotel, and this is the old wagon road. And the other trail we were on is just down there. So they're both going to meet up here. But we're going to go the other way. You know, I get asked sometimes, you know, why do you go back and revisit or refilm sites that you already have done so in the past? One reason is because I like these places. This is my favorite places to go. I think I mentioned in a recent video, I just got interviewed for a local newspaper, and one of the things they asked is, you know, what started you doing this? And one of the things I mentioned was there's places like this. You know, I always heard about these old villages out here, and then one summer I started looking for them and realized, wow, you know, there's awesome stuff out here to find. And that's what piqued my interest. So I still like coming back to these places. And plus, I also have, you know, a ton more subscribers than I did last time I filmed here. So there's a lot of people that haven't seen these places in the past. So it's always fun to share them again. All right, so I see some of the first ruins up here of the hotel site area. Yeah, so right here we got some ruins. Now, these look older than some of the main hotel area. I'm not sure if these are associated with the Moravians, or other people told me that these might have just been like storage buildings, or, you know, buildings like that, you know, like outbuildings for the hotel site. You have some old, I do love that old stonework though. Oh, this is just a smaller, this is not the building I thought. It's just one of the smaller outbuildings. Oh, I see there's more, I can see more foundations up there as well. Yeah, you can see there used to be something right up top there. This is the place where you can always come out here and rebuild yourself a little house on top of there. That'd be fun. Oh, yeah, I think there's some old steps here. Yeah, right back up there's that main wall we saw earlier at the town square. Those steps, they're brick steps. So right here's the main wall that you see when you come up that road. Of course, it extends all the way down that way, and over that way is where the post office was. But this is just a retaining wall for the hotel. The hotel was actually a little bit back. You see these big old spruce trees, they would have been planted, you know, ornamentally in front of the hotel. This is just, like I said, a retaining wall. This is not the foundation that held up the hotel. But let's go check some ruins out back this way. See a whole line of them back here. Yeah, check this out. Kind of a long narrow building. And up here it kind of curves up that way. Yeah, so here we are at the far end. We were just down that way. This is a building that has an interesting long channel here to walk down. And it kind of stops here, drops down to the basement. And just more over here. Beautiful old ruins. I've often kind of wondered what that channel was for. See, it drops right there and it just goes all the way on up. And always when I'm here, I see these, there's little holes here. Well, not little, that's a pretty big one. There's one up there. That's from people coming up here with metal detectors, or just treasure hunters, I guess you call it. This is state game lands. That's technically illegal to do that on state game lands, so just keep that in mind. It's always a good idea to fill in your holes. That's the kind of stuff that gives metal detectorists a bad name, is digging big holes and then not filling them back in, which kind of makes a mess of things. But they're a good metal detectorist as well. I like to watch some of their channels on YouTube, and they always fill their holes back in. Alright, so right in here is where the main hotel was. And there's really not a whole lot left. You'll see some bricks and stuff, because right down that way is that retaining wall. We're just kind of above it right now. But there's something interesting up here back behind the hotel. See some 2 stone piers up here. This is where the water tank was. There would have been probably a wooden water tank sitting on top of those. And you can see the pipe for it right here. So this was supplied water for the hotel, which was down that way. You know, obviously not the first person back here. There's always people coming back here. There's someone's hat. Real estate life. Whoever you are, you left your hat out here. And some trash. Not much going on these days. Quiet and peaceful back here. But like I said, back in the 1800s, it would have looked really different back here. None of these trees would have been here, because even beyond the hotel site, you know, this area was logged over. All these trees would have been gone. Because up that way is a sharp mountain. You'd be able to see right up to the mountain. No trees in the way. It would just look very different. Well, that's from the gap. I don't know if the microphone is picking that up. Not sure what that's for. That's from the military reservation. Well, I absolutely love it back here. I always do. I haven't been back here for quite a while though. And you can hear, that's a katydid. Just one. That's the male. He's trying to attract females, but more likely all the females are dead already. They've already laid their eggs and are done for the year. But I don't know. It's pretty warm today, so I guess he's stirred up again. Still hoping a lady friend will find him up there. Not likely though. Alright, I'm gonna have a seat on the steps back here, have a little snack, drink some water. Just enjoy the peace, quiet out here for a little bit. Alright, so it's probably time to start heading back. Had a little bit of not really a supper out here, I would say, but had typical beef jerky and some bars. So, but it's amazing. Like, to me, just a little bit of time out here in the woods feels like it just kind of revives your spirit a little bit, rejuvenates you a little bit. I love it out here. Like I said, I feel like I would love to like just build a house on some of these old ruins. There's enough of these ruins, like the stone ruins, left that you actually probably could build something on top of them again. Just live back here. It's so quiet, except for some of the noise from the military reservation. It's actually really quiet out here, and that, except for that one kid he did, who's still chattering up there. But yeah, beautiful back here. If you're out here on the weekends, a lot of times there'll be more people back here. A lot of people bike and hike on the rail trail and come down here and check this place out. Alright, I have no idea what time it is. My phone died out here, so. Alright, well, I'm going to start heading back, walking back. A little ways to walk back to the Jeep, back to Naomi. Alright, well, I'll take you with me a little bit as I walk back, just to see some of the colors and stuff. The leaves, it's beautiful. Alright, time to pack up and get going. You know, I would love to. It's state game land, so you can't camp out overnight, but this would be just an awesome place to camp out overnight at. Anyway, but you can't have everything you want. All right, got those leaves just falling down, golden, like golden rain almost. They're showing up real well. But right over there is where we had our little supper, a little break. Great place to sit and eat. Those are probably my favorite foundations over there. Love to build a little home right there. Just one last look at, there's that old retaining wall. And there is more out here as well. I know down the bank down here a little bit, there's some little small ruins, and scattered around there is other stuff here, but what I showed you today is just the main stuff here. Some of the other stuff I've showed in other videos, but we're running out of daylight out here today. May not show it as well on camera. Sometimes the camera adjusts for darkening conditions and doesn't look as dark as it really is. Not that it's pitch black out here, but beautiful walk. Imagine, you know, having a house back here and your mailbox is all the way up here. You get to walk this every day. Alright, so I think that'll be it for this video. I'm almost back up to the parking lot. Of course, the adventure for me is not over. I gotta drive up over the mountain again on there's a dirt road that comes down here that's pretty fun. Cold Springs Road. Of course, in recent years, they've repaired the road, so it's a lot more drivable than some time in the past. It was pretty awful trying to get down here. Anyway, I'm gonna get home, just relax tonight a little bit. And tomorrow, if all goes well, I'll be with Mike from Out Naturing, and we'll be hiking a section of the Appalachian Trail. At least that's the plan. All right, I'll see you around.